Cemetery Commission is regularly meets there at the Cultural Council. And recycling meets there in the colder weather.
So I assume we have to approve this increase.
I'm okay with it.
I move that we raise the rate to $40 an hour.
Starting June 1st to give the yoga people time to adjust.
Sorry, June 1st.
I'll second that.
Second that. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay. Do we know the liftoff quote for the Office 365?
Yes, so we need to have this from liftoff so that way we can get off of Paragus. Right now they are doing our Office 365 plan, but with CM Geeks, they rather have us go with liftoff.
What are we thinking? We have to get this money out of ARPA?
This is an annual cost, so this is gonna have to be budgeted every year.
This IT stuff's gotten expensive.
Honest to God.
And what do we get for that?
It's the Office 365, so you have Microsoft, Word, Excel, PowerPoint.
So they have all that stuff up and running, if something goes wrong, they come in and help us
Well,
with
it's a
it?
licensing, so we automatically have that on our computer, so we can use those.
Okay. So it's just really a license
Yes.
to use that stuff.
Do we have an ARPA balance? I think we were gonna drain it down to like 60,000, weren't we?
How much is the amount they're asking for?
They're asking for,
8460,
yeah,
call it $8,500, but it's an annual.
It's every year,
Yeah.
So they all do, they don't want you to.
so you want,
Please.
we need to put that back into the budget, so.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
We're at 36,000 now with the budget, so you.
For IT,
You're looking at another $8,500 on top of that annually.
What's the, what are the number of licenses that you're looking at?
It is a total of 45.
45, yeah, 25, 10, another 10.
So, is it,
Doesn't cost it, yeah.
Yeah,
is
sorry,
it, everyone have the same license, or is it different license levels?
There's different license levels.
Seems awfully expensive.
It seems like we have no licenses, and we know it's but I don't know, I guess the
That's-
question
yeah.
would be,
do you really save much if you have fewer?
well, yeah, it's kind of like cable, you know. But, if I may speak, Mr. Chair, I mean, it's, you know, you think of the people that are in this building, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's a question of whether the departments are utilizing it and have the need to have their own personal.
Like, do we really need 35 licenses? for
Yeah,
this?
I'm just kind of surprised it was that many licenses,
I wonder if they're including the police.
but they,
But even
How many
still,
are there?
Great.
Couple of.
License would be for a computer.
yeah, it's a,
Station or workstation.
Fair-
but is this
basic.
is this the email too? Is this?
Yeah,
No.
that's a big
I'm not
question.
sure if it's. the
Office,
email, 'cause I
well,
think that's
Office
the-
365 is part of that. You've got like the Outlook.
Right, that's what I mean,
Publisher
so
and
that's what I'm
finance.
thinking that they're trying to transition over to.
I have info on the email I wanted to talk to you about when we get to it, but it would be, I would just be curious to find out where all those licenses are before you, it's a lot.
It's,
I don't know if we have to
well,
do
how
it.
many people
I
make
think
a
it's like-
PowerPoint presentation?
You had 35 computers?
Yeah.
We'll put it into next year's budget.
well, there's two
We're already into
Right.
May.
different licenses.
We get
Right.
to May, June.
One's a G3 plan, one's a G.
Budget
plan.
for
Yeah,
this
no.
year.
Find out what that is.
Purpose
Yeah.
management.
Well, I think we have, and just, we need to figure out, maybe get
All the
clarifications on
How many
What
licenses?
you're
Why?
actually paying for.
so many, yeah.
I thought we had a longer email to that, but there was more of a breakdown.
There was a breakdown, right? Didn't make any sense.
You know, there's Outlook, there's Excel, there's Word.
Right.
Those are your three big ones. Now, you can
Right.
start Publisher, PowerPoint, how many, you know, not everybody needs that. somebody needed to use it, I'm sure
Well,
someone else
so there's a
somebody else
difference.
is
You can
There's a-
share
available.
it, you can share
There's,
it on.
there's two different
There's
levels.
two levels, there's the
One's
G1 and the
$23
G3.
and one's $10, so I'm guessing, you know,
Yeah.
that's just the case.
I wonder if this was a guesstimate they took.
Well, I know they talked to CM Geeks
About how many licenses.
about how many, they're our IT company.
Yeah, he would know, Paul would definitely know.
I would think respective departments would have like 3 or 4, you know, your officers and your higher ups, and then staff would
Maybe we
utilize.
just need more clarification on
Then we can figure it into the
that.
budget.
Into the budget for July 1,
Yeah.
and not
Yes,
to take any money this year. for
correct,
Just a month and a half.
yes,
It doesn't make sense to
makes
me.
no sense.
So we'll investigate it and figure out what
Yeah.
we're.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if, maybe you guys can somehow make sure do you want a copy of this so you can?
Yeah, if I could get a copy of it, I'll
Just
look
take
at
this
what
one.
we're paying and match it up.
At least so you can keep it with your records for budget request stuff, so you have a number. Any more discussion on this? Talk about unfunded mandates request to state auditor, is that you?
Yes, that's me. So do you have the letter there, the language? Is it in letter format? Good idea. Oh, perfect. So, this all started back in 1983 when they made polling hours uniform. You used to be able to open as late as 10 o'clock. Then they moved it to 7, and the auditor considered it an unfunded mandate. Now, with the vote by mail and the early in-person voting, that's the same thing. We are getting reimbursed from the Commonwealth for those costs. However, municipal elections, we're not. So, had met with the chief of staff at the auditor's office last month and asked, what's the status of reimbursement for mailing out ballots? And he said, well, we haven't gotten a request. And so I asked, what do you mean you haven't gotten a request? He's like, well, we need a request to investigate and to act upon it, similar to these. So the Worcester County clerks, we all talked. I got some draft language from Oxford, and they said, who wants to do it? And I was like, all right, I'll do it. I'll ask you guys. So in essence, what you're doing is you're asking the auditor to just look at the Votes Act of 1992. The towns are required to mail out ballots during municipal elections. Now, we have the option to opt out, but it can become confusing where if you're voting, in primaries and state elections, and then all of a sudden not in municipal elections, and if, let's say there was a vacancy in Congress, and you had the election the same day as a municipal, then you can't opt out. Bottom line is that, in my opinion, we'll stick with it, but we should get paid for mailing those ballots out. The returns are compensated by the Commonwealth, but mailing them out, it may only be a small amount, but what this allows the auditor to do is to look at the law and say, hey, you know what, this is an unfunded mandate, all municipalities in the Commonwealth should be reimbursed for mailing their ballots. They just need one executive board to start the process, and no one's done it. So I said, let's see if Hardwick can do it.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah,
Would you guys like to send this in?
yeah, no, you want a motion?
Yeah.
I would make a motion that we send the state auditor a letter regarding the early voting requirement by mail for reimbursement.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Thank you.
Do you want Rob to sign this, and then we can
Yeah,
use that with?
if he can sign it on behalf, or if all 3 of you, I
Or
don't
you-
know how that.
whatever's
I just gave
best.
I gave the language to Nicole because I didn't have your letterhead, so
Do you
if it's
wanna-
ready to be signed.
Do you want to add in our normal lines that we,
Do you, okay.
and then we can all, that way we all sign it?
That'd be
It'd
good.
probably look a little better.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So now we need, on to Markham, scope of services, contract for
Just the
24,
annual.
which is our accounting firm.
Mhm.
And then there is just the signature page that will need to be signed.
Big discount this year.
No.
No.
did notice a couple times I saw something about, they asked questions, there was questions asked about the ARPA account, and there was comments being made that they didn't keep track of that number. Is there something we're missing
On
here?
what is being spent.
Yes.
They do keep track of it. When we ask for it, they do have a spreadsheet, but sometimes it won't include things that haven't been paid or voted on yet.
All right, so there's no, they're covering 100% all the time. All right.
And this would keep things as it is.
Yes.
Correct.
The Lolio would still be,
Yeah.
everything goes forward.
Correct.
Yes.
I'm good, I'm
You good with it?
yeah, I'm good with staying with it.
You guys have any questions about it?
The same amount,
Yes.
is it 85?
That's what I was just looking for.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
'cause I
I
thought
thought
they
it-
did
I
increase
looked
this
at
year.
it the other day.
But I thought, yeah, 85,
Okay.
yeah, 85.
Mr. Chairman, how many hours do they work a week?
I'm gonna say they're scheduled for 36, I believe. I believe that all the office hours here, they're on call there too. And it's not just necessarily one person we're dealing with.
Three,
There's like 3 of them.
right?
It really, for what you're
Diane,
getting, it's the
Tanya,
best
and
bang for your
Lori.
buck, because by the time you get that expertise out of having one person in this building, it would cost you all that and you still wouldn't have what you really need. You wouldn't have somebody who can do everything. They have like somebody who just deals with like doing the books, but then somebody that does more of the legal stuff. It works out pretty well, I think.
I had to deal with Diane Sawyer, she works for
Yeah.
them. And this was back when it was the last presidential campaign. And I was just deleting those emails because I thought Diane Sawyer, used to write speeches for Nixon. I thought it was just a political thing, it just never opened.
So is it something to report?
It took a while, well, yeah, it was the EMD stuff. We got it straightened out.
Well, if you guys are all set with it, you want to make a motion to,
I so moved that we go with Markham and sign a new contract.
I think it's 1-year contract too,
Yep.
right?
For FY '24, for $85,000. I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
You can sign that.
A support letter for CMRPC, Climate Pollution Reduction Grant. What do you got there?
Yeah, it's just to write a letter saying that you guys support this.
And what do we get on this? I think I must have missed this one.
I think it's a pro forma, you just want
Yeah,
the different towns to signal support
support
that
it.
we use them and they help us.
right,
Gives them more size for negotiating, I think.
yeah.
That's fine, I mean, they've helped us out a lot in the past.
Do we have a letter drafted to?
We're gonna
Okay.
do that tomorrow.
Okay.
She just wanted to get your approval if you're gonna support this or not.
I'm okay with it.
I like them.
Anyone else?
I would move that we write a letter of support for CMRPC regarding EPA climate pollution reduction grant.
Second is,
Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. ARPA funding.
Jocelyn Road.
This is that.
Fire hydrant.
Yep.
Repair. It's a little more than $1,800.
It has 668284.
Or is it the 14? What's the 14 number?
There's 1825 for Jason.
Yeah, that's all of us.
Yeah. So this is,
Was it just Jason we had to pay, or did we have to?
And then we have the highway employees overtime, 1,118.63. We have the
I'm not seeing that.
BJP,
I just have EJP and I have like,
We got the EJP, fire department.
yeah, she just said the total should be 668284.
but then what's this?
That was all the information that they submitted with it.
But it's,
The
this
PPE
total,
thing was the bathroom, wasn't it?
What was that?
yeah, it was, that's
The 8760.
That was,
that's the
that was the
bathroom.
shower.
the shower, right.
So this is another added-on one?
No, that we approved.
Yeah,
I
they're just-
thought we bought the hydrants already.
They were just doing it a couple weeks ago.
Didn't you buy like 4 hydrants?
A while back, we bought
Yes.
4 hydrants.
Yeah.
Let me see, what did they actually send? Hold on, let me look at the invoice.
They had to get into the ground there because it was the valve, there was a knuckle that was blown out, it wasn't bolted down correctly or something, it said.
Yeah, I don't know where
Right,
this
so
is.
they did have to buy another hydrant. They bought a hydrant. Valve box.
But where's the 668284 coming from?
I
Nothing
think,
adds up to that.
I think you have to add the 1825.
That's only
That's on the
5564.
What's this bill here?
Oh, yeah, what's that overtime?
Is that another 18?
11863.
We getting closer?
111863. Is that what that number is?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay, so it's the overtime, it's Garolitis's bill, and it's the EJP. Because we already approved the 8760 for the shower.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what was that number again?
668284.
I'm not missing some breakdown.
Yeah, she just gave the phone number.
No, so if you add this, the
Yeah.
EJP and the overtime, that's where you come up with the 668284.
Somehow the PD shower thing.
Well, I think it was just on that same
Slip.
warrant, you know, like turnover, rather.
Alright,
So that's just a little wonky.
that's from ARPA. Yeah, well, if you guys approve it.
Yeah. Well, this is work that's already been done, we kind of have to.
Yeah.
I would make a motion to approve opera funds in the amount of $6,682.84 to the hydrant repairs on Joslyn Road.
Second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay, so now we're down to Finance Committee.
Well, I got another opera thing in here from
Oh,
Brian.
Lisa, sorry. And, oh, do you have a number on that? So.
I do, and I had forwarded on, and I don't know if she included it in your packets or not. What's that? Well, I forwarded the quote to you and Nicole this morning. It's 3,910.
And this is.
8 volumes of, I'll be very quick. 8 volumes of birth records, 5 death records, 4 marriage records that are currently unbound or in acidic similar but accessible post binding with archival materials and a bit more of a board overhang to protect the raw documents. It is understood that putting each document in an archival protective Mylar envelope would greatly add to the thickness of each volume, and therefore for space requirements this will not be done. So it's a cloth board, screw post, a soft cloth spine, type of bound edge with a stamping for each. In a nutshell, what I have in there, I've got that one safe, and when I finally rearranged the room, I found another shelving unit. So now I can pull stuff out and try to get more in there. I've got unbound loose records that need to be bound, and those that are bound are in materials that's going to break it down. The Mylar, I could show you, but the Mylar books, they're about this thick. Okay, you put each one in a thing of Mylar. This is 4 years. I just don't have that much room in the safe. The old records, a book like this would contain 50 years worth of material. So with the limited space that I have, with the fireproofing, the other things that I had put in there was that there, the section 9, 10, 11, 12. At some point we have to talk about getting a room that's fireproof to keep materials. It's not a discussion for tonight. This bid was something for opera because I heard opera was basically running out, and it was like, okay, I need to get this stuff done. So it's 17 bindings at $230 a piece. So the total is $3,910. It's with Green Book Bindery out of Shrewsbury. Nicole McDaniel, who lives in town, she works there. She would actually come out here, assist me with doing it, so the records wouldn't have to go off-site. I don't want records going off-site and having all of a sudden, they're disappearing. There's a lot of records downstairs, right beneath us, that need protection. That is not fireproof. It's 3 pieces of metal with a bank door in front of it. So I'm trying to go after what is, in my opinion, the most critical. But at some point, we're going to have to look at either something in the police room, my office, or this downstairs, because all of the maps and everything up there, that's my custody as well, all of the road layouts and all that. So is it critical? Yes and no. But the longer we put it off, the longer, something like this could happen again or whatever. So.
Have we looked into a grant to rehab this building? Like one more.
We're getting off on a tangent, but we have plenty of room here, and it's like you look at the heating system. This heating system has to literally pipe through every flippin' room, and it's inefficient, and it just doesn't do its job. I'm sure that we could find ways to be more cost effective in utilizing the space that we have, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to maximize what I'm responsible for, what the town's responsible for when it comes to the records, and ensuring that they're protected. But with what we have right now, it's not, it's a C. It should be A.
It's damp down there too.
There is a humidifier that Paula did install just before I left. Someone had donated money, and it was you guys, right? Had installed it, so there is something that is running down there, so it's kept at about 45%.
Now, there's a vault in the old town hall.
That you can see all the way out.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
Just knew I didn't want to get locked in there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I did. Yeah. Not going to
That's
be
not
any
super
kind of
helpful.
solution.
Is there such a thing as digital records?
Well, there is
capture
digital
them and
records, but you
store
still
them?
have
Physical.
you're still going to have a physical, you're still going to have a physical backup. I could probably get by not having, it's the law. So, births and deaths, they've been slowly digitizing. And the idea is that everything's stored in Dorchester by the Commonwealth. Marriages we still have to send in. But the law still stipulates that paper copies at the residence, it's maintained here. So, that's the idea. I mean, will the state eventually have it where they're all there? Maybe. But for now, my job is just to protect, like all the previous clerks did the records that we have. So 3,910 is what I'm asking for this to get those records. There are others that, if you saw it, the amount of work that will take is just because what happened is that back in the 1800s, each doctor in town gave a buck slip, births February of 1892, and there might be one, there might be two. And then there was a record of birth. And so if you had 5 doctors reporting on it, it's not as nice and neat as the little 8.5 by 6 that you have now. So putting those together is still something that needs to be done because they're all loose leaf. The cabinet's a fireproof cabinet. Not a huge priority, it's lasted this long, but again, something that it'll need attention at some point, at least being in a fireproof room. So that was what I had sent to you guys. It was chapter 66, sections 9, 11, and 12, talking about the responsibility to have a fireproof room for the records of the town. For you to read at your convenience. What's that?
Can we just sign off on a pollution?
Oh.
Right? Fixing the heat system in here, be part of the pollution of the world.
I don't know about that, but
Heat pumps.
Problems cost electricity is 40 cents a kilowatt.
I'm okay with this 39.
Speaking of that, just to go off on another tangent, if I may, Mr. Chairman, we could use a generator for this building. I don't believe it's covered. We have two buildings in town that are independent if the power goes out. One's the school and one's the firehouse. This place, you wouldn't want to see the pipes freeze, So, it's
Don't even say
well,
it.
we have this fabulous ARPA money. I don't know what that would cost, but it would be $15,000, something like that.
At this point, you could run that boiler on a portable generator. You
Yeah.
run it on one of the wheels, it probably only
So
takes,
that's all we need, you think?
probably doesn't take a 15 amp circuit.
Yeah,
The
that's-
current
that's
boiler you
what
have,
the-
it's a steam boiler. It's only gonna run the burner.
That's what the police department used to do when they were here. They would just set up one out back and
I
crank it
remember,
up.
but they're not here.
Yep.
So, for lights and just shuts down business.
You should
But if
also,
you don't think it's as important as, it just occurred to me. Never got done.
and if I may, Mr. Chair, talk about when we're going to shut the heat off, because I still have to go down every Monday to flush that thing. Because I'm like getting Groundhog Day because everything's back together, and I'm worried that
it's gonna happen again.
it's going to happen again.
I told Nicole that I would probably not this week, but next week, look at that and come up with, devise a plan about a secondary safety
Okay.
to build if something were to occur to not allow.
Well, now that we're in the months where it's not even going to be kicking on, I just want to know so that I don't have to go down, and we don't have to worry that something's going to
Can
happen.
we shut it off?
If we could, yeah, well, I want permission from you guys, because some people get cold and they go in.
Well, can we get little electric heaters for the
Well,
couple hours?
if it doesn't
a day
start
that
out
maybe-
because it's shut off,
Lose the whole system.
It's
That's a
fine.
good point.
That's electricity.
I'm okay with shutting the heat off, but I don't work here. I mean, it was 90 degrees out in my office today. It was nice and warm, the sun was out.
you're probably right. A little electric heaters would solve it.
And I had explained, again, you look at all the pipes, well, you've got those valves there. Now, it runs through my office. I have them all off. And if they crank it up to 72 or 74, my office is 76, 77. All they have to do is just leave the dial alone and adjust these knobs. And that happened, and it did work. So hopefully that takes care of that. Because it's really what it boils down to. I mean, they all face south and east. I face east, but I get no.
Well, it sounds like it's on
You're not
now.
getting the sun back.
No, that was the air compressor.
Oh, that's the air compressor? Sounds like something's running.
Yeah, it was that. Because I thought the same thing. So,
I'm-
but yeah, I just wanted to find out, when it's okay to shut the heat off, so we don't have to keep doing it.
I would say if everybody's least comfortable. I mean, there's always someone gonna be cold, but we get a little.
Get a little space heater.
They just turn on, just,
That's what I
everybody's
do.
gotta shut them off, that's all.
Isn't there a state
Maybe if there's
mandate
some
for
sort
spec
of,
stuff?
maybe if there's some sort of directive from the board that's in charge of the building. that
May
would-
15th for the outdoor furnaces.
We can- I mean,
It's
well, why don't we finish this first, then we'll talk about
Yeah.
you for a second.
Yeah. So this is what we had left, and we just spent 66 out of it, right, correct?
Right, and that's if we do, what defines.
Right. Right, which I don't think is bad.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay.
That's remaining ARPA funds,
60, you're at
how much?
a 60, well, not anymore, hold on. 'Cause we just,
50-some odd thousand?
63,
A little under 60.
minus 66, 82, 84,
Yeah,
56, 7.
So this would be another three,
So
roughly
minus
4,000.
52, 8.
But, I mean, let's face it, we ain't gonna have the money after this, so. It's like, well, if we, I mean, it's gotta get done at some point.
Yeah,
We need to protect the stuff, so.
well, yeah, I agree.
Well, I would move that we give the town clerk what he's asking for. 66, 82, 84.
No,
No,
3,000.
3910.
For preserving records.
Preserving the records.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Oh, just, why don't we just do the heat thing real quick? I mean, if you guys are okay with it, do we wanna just say, let's shut the
I
heat
mean,
off?
who's cold? Does anyone,
No one's complaining.
right, I mean,
Yeah, it's, the week's supposed to be warm.
right, I think once, yeah,
If it's an issue, we can deal with it as a per basis issue, but
right,
at this
with
point,
a
I'd
space
shut it
heater or
off.
something, yeah, I'm fine with it.
We heat with wool.
Give it a
I heard
heat
somebody
with wool.
say we heat with wool.
You, send an email,
Just kill the
just
two
let
switches on the
everybody
side,
know we're gonna
right?
have a heat show.
Two switches on the side.
Shutting the heat off, bring their space heaters. If they're worried.
Sweater.
Slippers, whatever.
Slippers, whatever. Uggs, I don't care.
Coordination room.
Alright, let's go over the budget now.
Yeah,
You good?
yeah.
Alright, you guys wanna come up and go over the budget? You wanna sit back there and go over the budget? Totally up to you. So, come on up, come on down. It's like the price is right.
The price is right.
Yeah, so
So
it's,
that it's like,
I just wanted to make it.
yeah, no, absolutely.
Not that unprofessional. I think it's somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
just looking at
be
the
happy.
reconciliation. So, have we changed much from the last time that we talked, is anything?
No, Nicole and I have been going back and forth on just making some fine tuning, some adjustments. I think the one thing that we did change today, her assistant was misclassified as a D4 for the rate, and she said it should be a C3, so we made that one change.
Have to address that in the personnel plan, so
Yeah.
we'll have to have a personnel committee meeting, because it is listed that way. And her and Jen were supposed to go over all of that. It probably just was missed.
I wonder if we shouldn't have one anyhow, because there were some
A
issues.
couple of other things,
Yeah,
yeah.
that we need to deal with. We'll talk about that.
The other issue we had was there was two, so the police clerk, they were looking to bring her rate from 6,000 to 24,000. We agreed on the rate increase at 10 hours a week, which is what we believe that she's working. That comes out to $11,149.
So what's the rate that you used, do you know?
It's at 2144.
So do you know why their request was 20,000? Was it more hours? Was it?
We don't know. We got a letter from the police just.
Because they had come before the personnel committee to ask for her rate to be increased because of her longevity.
Yeah.
And we approved that, the rate. My concern is, this poor girl is gonna walk as of June 30th, if she can't pay her bills. So I don't know if they were looking to increase her hours as well. Because between the two departments, she works full-time, between highway and police. So she's a benefited employee anyway. I just,
Would they increase their hours, would they have to go to the personnel board?
that's what I can't remember,
Yeah.
so that's
Okay,
what
yeah.
we need some clarification on that, I think, if it's an hours increase.
Will we increase your hourly rate for highway clerk also? Same position.
Correct.
You would have to, if you
Correct.
had one day, I'd have to do that.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, good that the rate is increased, it just definitely, it will be really bad for highway employees if we lose her.
All right, well, we don't have any other information, so that's what we're going
Okay.
off of.
So that's something.
They
we'll
wanna-
have to look at.
Yeah, if you want to come back with some more detail around that, then
Yep.
we'd be willing to look at it. Again, we're trying to, this year, we really need to hold the line on, especially payroll. Everyone's got raises this year, we put all those raises back, worked with Nicole on that, all the contracts are in. But every time we increase labor, that compounds for next year's budget, which compounds in future year's budget, so we've got to get a handle on that. And if police needs to increase the salary, then we would expect them to come back with a reduction somewhere else to pay for.
Well, they just signed 3-year contracts
For the,
police.
That's
For
for
the
the
union?
union, for the union.
But I think
union
all
just
of them did, all the
Yeah,
contract
all the
employees were 3
contracts
years,
were
they were just.
The lieutenant and the chief, yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much everyone except for the clerk. So, and I think the other one is town administrator and
the fire chief, highway, and the sewer superintendent, they're all contracted.
right.
The other area that we talked about was the youth director. So there was a lot of discussion on her hours. Nicole thought it was bi-weekly. So we increased her rate to $24.32, which was in the classification plan, and increased the hours to 10 hours per week, which basically doubles what she was getting, and that's what we feel is fair for this year.
How many hours a week?
We got down 10 hours. We backed into to get the hours that were, that she listed, so we added some hours to it, so. Those are really the big items that were.
Because they had wanted like 24,000 or something, right?
Yeah.
That's a big chunk.
So with our recommendation, we can get a balanced budget. We can put some money in stabilization, we can fund capital.
What's the bottom line,
As far as,
the budget? Over, under, I don't see it on here.
Look at the balance sheet, we balance.
So like, we're not over, we're not under,
Correct.
there's nothing,
0.
that's awfully brave.
That's how we budget.
Yeah.
Okay. Never in my day. Corporates might budget that way, but municipalities
I
typically
was
don't.
13 years in finance, we budget like this every year for 13 years.
Mr. Chair, if I may, the only cautionary thing that I would just reference would be to just touch base with Jennifer, because sometimes the estimates on the receipts and the other things, she does sometimes have a little bit of a buffer.
she does, I had that conversation
Okay,
with her. She's
all right.
she was very conservative on most of them.
Okay.
I think we have pretty high non-payment of taxes too this year. It's gonna affect our cash flow. Are we gonna get the school coming back, or did you guys just fund the school?
I'm kidding. We took what they came back and carried it. I think that's probably where they bottomed out at.
Was that the 5%?
It's actually a little less than
Yeah,
5.
4.81 or something, yeah.
And that's their second number?
Yeah, that's what they came back with. They originally started up to 11.41. And they came down to that.
And we got the most accurate Pathfinder assessment.
Yeah, that
most recent.
that number looks good. Yeah, I remember hearing that number.
I'm just trying to think of things that if we cut them down, if people bring it back up, you know.
No, I get it.
You don't wanna get.
Yep. Yep.
Caught our pants down.
Have you reached back out to especially the bigger departments about level funding everything?
I had a conversation with Marty. I have not had one with the police department yet, but I will.
And, you know, I just worry about something being changed on the floor too, and there's no room, so it's always a possibility.
Oh, happens.
What happened last year? I haven't really had a chance to, we got this pretty late in the afternoon.
Just looking for insurances, we know are good, our insurance number.
Is that the 1.8 that needs to be refinanced? I'm not sure how that's happening yet, and the interest on that could be substantial. Has Nicole mentioned anything?
Not a word.
What is it?
We talked about it in the last meeting.
The band.
The existing debt on the,
On the sewer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little over 1.8, isn't it? It's like 1.9 or something.
Who is it financed, who is it financed with? Is it, it's not a USDA loan?
No,
Oh, it's probably through.
but we don't know
It's probably
if
through
they're
that
gonna,
bank.
if they're gonna
Unit
take it,
bank?
if they're gonna,
yeah, the-
right, that's, I think, might be who it is.
Yeah.
But it comes, I think, due in October, so we have to budget for that.
Is it just the interest payment, or is it just the?
The interest payment, we have to, right, that's
so
my
we-
understanding.
So we would need to know that.
Correct,
I think it was like 68,000 or something.
and it
last
was
year, wasn't
big, that's why I'm like, yeah. And I don't know if it's part of this, I don't know if some of this is in here. Doesn't look at them. It's all labeled, yeah.
Yeah,
We just wanna make sure that we're covering it.
Oh, yeah,
Because-
for sure, that's too big to.
Yeah, it's a big one, I think.
No, we do have.
There's some,
stuff
but,
that they ran on band, yeah.
but I don't
Yeah,
think
but is
that's
that the one?
correct, that's,
It seems light.
right.
Nearly $2 million even out.
It's just, and maybe it's fine, but I don't, yeah. We just wanna make sure.
Did they rewrite the interest rate?
So that's
'Cause
what,
it was at a point and a half.
yeah, I don't know.
Is that a point and a half?
Yeah.
How much is it?
And I
Yeah.
feel like it's
Right.
again, I don't have the
Yeah.
particulars, yeah.
Just, well, that will give us
We have
an
to
idea.
ask her.
What is the, you said, well,
One and a half. One and a half was what it was started at.
how many years?
It's a 40-year.
40-year?
Yeah.
How much we spent last year?
That's,
We
yeah,
had to pay a certain amount last year.
You had to pay on it last year. So it should be in the budget for last year.
but, yeah, I
wasn't-
feel
it
like we just
wasn't
rolled it
budget.
over, into another band last year or something. So it wasn't substantial, and I feel like this year it's coming where it, like it needs to be paid off or it needs to be completely rewritten or something.
Yeah.
What, the 1.8 has to be paid off?
It's
Huh?
$27,000 a year in interest.
Maybe that's at 25.
Maybe it's a 25, then 25.8. There's something is coming in October that
Okay.
I just wanna make sure we're covered for.
Can you write a note to Nicole and let us get back to us on that, just so we know we have it in the budget? Otherwise, we need to know that number so we can back out of this a little bit.
Maybe it's this one. Just, be sure.
so it's variable, it could just change.
Depends on where they get the money from. Fed rate is keep going, it's supposed to go up again.
Can't just fool around with some money for Page Library endowment, working in the other direction. It's good, but
Well,
not if you're paying.
not the other end.
Right.
It's never
Not if you're
catching up.
borrowing.
Well, but if you have borrowed, I'm just wondering, all I know about is mortgages really, so.
Did we run that through the overs and unders after? Is that when we did it, like in our fall meeting last year? For some reason, I don't think we did to the budget. We waited on it,
The interest payment?
yeah. Have we got,
It's sticking in my mind and I just don't want it to be something that we're missing.
do we have the sewer budget?
Have you guys seen the sewer budget?
No, we don't deal with it.
Can you,
We got the sewer budget.
can you email to get us a sewer budget? Well, because they have been putting
Yeah.
it's-
Oh, maybe it's there.
That's
That
what
would make
water main,
sense.
that's where we put it.
Yep. Well, that makes me
Well,
feel
certain
a little
things,
bit
I
better.
think certain things were paid through that budget and
Right.
not other things. It was just,
Right, you know, and we gotta square that away at some point here.
Well, last year, the year before, we did like the insurance and we broke all that
yeah,
out.
but there was certain, like, there's the pump station, I think, was running through this normal budget, where some of the other stuff was running through the sewer
And
budget.
I think
It
it's
was
all
over
there
the
now.
map.
I think it's all there now.
Yeah, we tried to consolidate it.
So that makes sense. That's probably where it is.
Because it was,
Yeah.
it's like 60,000 or something for
Yeah.
whatever this is.
Okay, that makes me feel
Just verify it.
Can we get
Please.
that for you?
better. Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, honestly,
It's on my
even,
notes.
even they should have a copy of the sewer budget, just so you
So-
understand what's going on.
If we have to come up with another $8,500 for IT,
What's the ticket item about stabilization? So we're putting in,
We're putting money into stabilization and capital stabilization with this budget. That was the idea of taking free cash.
yeah, no, and that's a good idea.
Yeah.
we have
So-
159,000 going to stabilization, 100,000 going to capital.
Right here.
Going in.
Going in, yeah. So we've got room to work with that, so we can reduce that number down.
And we still don't know about just departments being over or under yet, so that will
No.
have to be cleaned up
That-
in June
yeah.
when we get closer to the meeting date. A lot of times, we can work it out, the
Yeah.
accountant goes through and, if
But it wasn't-
highway's over a little bit, but, police is under, then it becomes a wash, or within their departments.
It wasn't a bad heating year, so.
No.
We should have some
Yeah.
money left in some of those.
Especially if we shut the heat off.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We should be doing that more often.
It's the most efficient way.
February?
We do want as much of the surplus, budget surplus to go into free cash for next year. So that's what we want to try to do.
I don't know if you're really gonna use the word surplus. I'm hoping,
We'll
I'm
see.
hoping.
Yes.
We'll see.
I'm not really sure.
We'll see.
Still got
And
2
the
months to
reason,
get
the
through.
reason for the heavier number in reserve is we know we're running really tight on everybody's budgets. So it gives us some room to work with there as well. We could actually pull that 85 out of
We
it.
didn't get a raise, the selectmen.
We didn't get our raise, and did we even get paid?
I think we get paid somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing,
quarterly.
nothing.
I don't think I've ever gotten paid.
I'll look at that.
Even from the sewer.
You did do your paperwork.
I don't. It's my donation back to the
It
town.
looked good there. It
You're
said-
supposed to take it and then you can donate it back.
Doesn't look
Just
good.
saying.
That's what I always did.
Just the prior year's
I
budget.
used to buy
Right,
shit all the time.
level
for
funded,
everything.
level.
Take it and send
I
it
wasn't
back.
here last year.
So this is a big boom for you.
It's a big,
Don't spend it all in one
Yeah.
place.
I'm not going anywhere, it's all right.
So,
You can, spend it locally.
so if we
you're
can
gonna
just get
spend
the
it.
answer on the,
That interest, the
Yeah,
loan,
just
suck it
whatever
up.
that
if we
is.
can get that answer,
Yeah,
and then,
okay.
What if you got left?
we'll budget in the 85 for the IT, even though it sounds awfully high.
Well, once we get clarification, but at least have the number there,
We'll know that we have
If-
to add it into IT.
If for some reason it needs to be, if it's legit and everything is,
Yeah, no, that's fine, that's fine.
We could pare that down,
Well,
certainly
we gotta see what all the,
What it is,
yeah,
yeah.
right.
Well,
Just
there
get
was,
some
there was 2 different
clarification.
classifications on that.
Right.
One was, there was 25 for one of them and
And 10 for another.
10 for the other, which is
Yeah.
kind of bizarre.
Yeah, unless it, Ryan said, some things, it's everything, and then maybe some people only
Maybe there's. all the
utilize,
department heads
Excel
get-
or whatever, I don't know.
Maybe the department head
Yeah.
get the 10 of them with all the bells and whistles and
But I
everything
think that
else.
was the lesser of the two.
Or
Yeah,
is this already part of the $36,000 they budgeted?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Do we have a budget breakdown of what that
I was
36
just
looks like?
saying,
Of the IT stuff? I think there is one.
I think it's there.
for that.
So are we reasonably comfortable with most of this?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we kind of got this late in the afternoon, right?
It's not so different from the last one you got.
Yeah, so,
That's pretty close.
right, I would agree, looking
What's the
at it
biggest
quickly.
difference?
And,
Just, like, the assessor, we took that, they wanted to give her a $10,000 increase, and we took it back to a 2%
Yeah.
increase.
Nicole proposed that just
Yeah.
for, and I get it.
I do, but
When Jen's gone, we're never gonna hire someone for,
Is she leaving midstream?
I don't think
No,
so.
but it's gonna boil down to probably having to contract somebody out for
Yep.
that job.
It'll
agreed,
take years to learn the job.
Exactly.
I agree.
I think that was the biggest one, that was almost 10,000.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then the youth, and then
Police clerk.
police clerk.
Yeah.
So we just need some clarification on the police clerk.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I think it's a,
Okay, the state says that we're missing $2 billion for collections of taxes in April.
how come the fire department expenses
Oh, we gave,
more than what they asked for?
yeah, so we gave fire, like $9,000 more, so he could clean, he's got some expenses that he wants to clean up, so we
But
met
they're
with
from
him.
this year.
They're gonna be stuff that
Yeah.
he needs to do for next year. We already supplemented him $8,000 in his expense account so far this year. The trucks are aging, and, he had to fix the pumps on them and what have you, so just as a precaution, we did that.
Is he gonna try for another grant this year? Did he say?
He said he is.
Tries every year.
He tries every year.
Yeah.
But I think, what is this newest vehicle is an 30 years old?
No, I mean, it's
37 is the
it's
other
due, it's just,
Yeah.
they're $1 million.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
tankers
Yep.
and
I don't
No,
think
that's-
anybody here disagrees, like,
No.
we just, my wallet was a little short.
Well, if we all give back our paychecks, then that's a start, huh?
Yeah,
Like you might buy a tire for a truck.
Sorry, I had to.
Not getting paid enough to make
Auxiliary
any
truck,
difference.
yeah, right, auxiliary
You
truck.
guys too? Oh,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
that's right.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot.
No, you guys, you're level funded.
Thanks, Eric.
Take a look at our budget.
That's a big.
We don't
executive
even get an
decision you
expense
just made.
budget.
I know, it's a volunteer.
It used to be $200,
Yeah.
and every year we would say we were gonna get pizza or something, we never did. Like, it just sat there,
too cheap.
Building up interest.
right?
Actually, speaking of the chief, has he given any, the fire chief that is, given any indication how long he's staying around? 'Cause
He can't
He's
after
done.
December.
He's
done.
December
He's done
31st.
December
Alright, so we're actually gonna have to, at some point this year, do a contract with somebody.
Or
You
not,
have to hire a
just
chief.
have a fire chief.
Or, well, I mean, we're gonna have to pay somebody else
Yes.
to do the job, so.
Correct.
That may be an issue with salary. Or stipend, or whatever we call this. Is it even a salary that he gets? Is that-
He's like 31,000,
Yeah.
32,000.
Yeah.
Salary.
Alright.
All right, any questions for us?
So,
So if we can just clean up a few of those things, you'll find out on the interest on the 1.8 million. And somebody's gonna reach out
I
to
bet you
the,
that's in the sewer budget, I wasn't even
We'll
thinking
reach-
of a separate budget.
and somebody's gonna get some clarification on the clerk for the police department.
What else do you need on that? Cause I know I sent the letter.
What did everybody say much?
It didn't say anything.
No.
Yeah, some clarification as to why, what are they looking for?
What are-
We would be looking for them to find the cost savings within their budget.
okay.
They want to increase it.
Sharon earns her pay though. She
I'll tell you,
covers
it
a
will
lot of
be,
stuff. She's
yep.
real good. Really.
And she helps out in other departments when needed to. For nothing.
You know, she's part of the reason why Marty gets as much money as he does.
Mm-hmm.
And he could pay her. You should give her a tip. I could, yeah, I could.
You just come into a
Thank
big
you.
bonus of money.
We wanna run at this one more time, or
I
It's
would,
10 years.
I would think so,
Yeah.
prior to the,
get those things cleaned up, and then we can,
Maybe a week, 2 weeks before.
how about the first meeting in June,
That's about 2 weeks before, right?
right?
are we still set for the third, is it the third Saturday or the fourth Saturday?
24th?
24th, the 4th.
Okay.
So probably 2 weeks before, right, your first meeting?
Yeah, because what do we, yeah, with the second, yeah, so that the 12th we would meet. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you can, if for some reason something strange comes up,
We'll just meet.
We'll just, yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it can't hurt at this point. Hopefully we'll have every other article, maybe even have a better idea where the overs and unders stand.
Should have
by then.
By then you should have,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we can
Yeah.
get a budget out to the public ahead of time.
Yeah, we can put it on
It's
the
gonna be
website.
last minute.
It'd be nice,
Yeah,
Still
we can
need to-
do that.
you know?
I know we used to meet in the.
As long as we're all in
library.
agreement, it's easier that way.
Yeah, I mean, even if we change it a little bit to give people something
It
to
gives
look at.
people a
this
draft,
point.
you know, call it a draft, you
That's
know,
all,
and,
yes.
yeah,
Yes. Subjects change without notice.
you know?
With notice, I mean, you're right
No,
there.
without notice.
Without notice, subject to change
Right.
before the vote.
Yeah,
We'll redistribute as soon as we get that information,
Yeah.
and then give you time to
And
look
I'll-
at it. and-
You know, please chief and see what else he can get us.
Okay,
Move we
thank you.
adjourn.
Thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see ya. The whole committee.
Somebody seconds?
Yeah.
Second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night, guys, thank you.
I'm helping.
All right, thank you.
The bins underneath the town hall printing, so just those two switches, right?
Yeah.
You guys aren't doing anything else on election day bylaw yet, right?
I don't think so.
With the email? Just give me 2
that
minutes, I
thing?
just,
Oh,
Yeah.
the, yeah.
yeah, just
we
give me,
can
I just
go
wanna
up
shut
here.
he's gonna show me how to shut the stove off.
Okay,
So just stove.
Shut the oven off.
the cooker,
The fountain?
yeah, the fountain,
Technical
exactly.
Thanks, everyone, have a great evening.
Thank
you.
you. Too.
See ya.
See ya.
Alright, we wanna go over sewer oversight?
Sure.
Really, truly need to figure out some way to have this written up, published, so we can move this forward.
I'm not gonna lie, you know, I read, like, Blue Heron didn't offer much
Inside of it.
guts. Then the one that was 249 pages, well, I'm gonna say I passed right over that sucker.
Yeah. I didn't make it through it,
I,
but I did skim through it, and I will tell you,
well, the towns were wrong, like, it
right,
was saying that it was, you know, Hardwick was on, the town hall was on Air Road, and I'm like, oh my god, this is, someone like copied and pasted, and it's really bad, it was distracting.
yeah. I didn't finish reading that one.
No.
so.
Yeah, I feel like it's, you know, my thought was that, you know, we would find somebody that would, you know, just kind of act as like a liaison during the project, learn about, I mean, no one's coming in to recreate the wheel. The plans are the plans, unfortunately, because it's USDA, probably not gonna change much out in the field, right? But it's someone keeping eyes on the project,
Gotta have it.
you know? Absolutely.
We have to have it.
You know, and I will say that last week do you know about the Thursday morning calls with DPC? So I'll forward you the email. It's a call-in, it's a phone call every Thursday at 10.
For us,
Yep.
with
for
the architects.
Yep. And sometimes USDA also joins on. I think I've heard through the grapevines that maybe they will be this week. But Justin with DPC kind of got a little, I don't want to say offended, but he kind of didn't think it was a good idea that we were going to do this. There's just one more person in the mix. And so I kind of stewed on that all day long, and I kind of was like, well, why? You know, because as a town, we're trying to protect ourselves, and we're here for the people of this town. And a lot of money's going into this project. Even though a lot of money is granted, we're still, you know, we're doing for the best of the people.
We're gonna end up paying more than we think.
And
In any case, we have to, you can't leave, it's a cliche, right? You're leaving the fox to guard the chickens.
so, exactly.
You
And
have
how
to
can
have
the same
somebody-
person that did the plans, no,
Not
No.
cleanly be
That's-
able to say, oh, I
I
screwed
agree.
up here.
I
No.
totally agree. And, you know, their come back to that was, well, it's USDA. It's not like the last project we had, which, okay, I see that because USDA also has their engineers and their, you know, their people, that if there was a change order, you know, all of a sudden in the field, someone's like, well, I think this has to change. It's gonna have to go through them too. Okay, well, that's fine. But again, who's looking out for us? As a board that represents the people in this town. So I actually called Nicole back later that day because I was like, I stewed on that all day long, that they were pretty not poo-pooing it, but,
Why are
you
they
know,
arguing?
and so, not arguing, but
Not
they're
arguing,
just not
but-
agree, you know, just not thinking that maybe it's in the best interest, you know, for our funds or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna tell you I disagree with that, and I explained to her just that here we are as a board representing the people. And there has been enough skepticism and enough concern from people, you know, questioning all along these projects and, you know, the necessity of doing some of this work.
Right.
So that's what that person would be there for.
Right.
Not to stick their nose in and say, oh no, we gotta change it. There's no recreating the wheel at this point. The plans have been done. They probably won't stray too far from what they are,
Right. Well, there are
you know?
many decisions that are outside the plan sometimes that need to be made that aren't necessarily even change orders. But,
Just, yeah.
but sometimes, yeah, you just run into things, and Scott is gonna have to do his job.
And I made that, I said that very loud and clear too, that it's not, this should 100% not fall on Scott's shoulders because he has his own job to do, and this is huge.
Right.
This is huge.
Right. So someone might just even have to bounce around to say, they might need to shut something down for a day.
And maybe they're not there every day, you know?
Right.
If, you know, but why not get someone involved now to see the projects happen, to learn about the plants as they're being recreated and, you know, upgraded, and then they'll be there to do the oversight that we do need to, by the letter of conditions, have that person in place. So
Okay.
I just,
If
voicing
I
that.
could, and let me tell you what happened to me with Wheelwright, just cleanly here. We had that grant to do the thing, and we hired, I had just hired a new operator, and he was the commander of the VFW, Danny Martell. He was the operator for the town, for the water treatment. But he moved over, he got a better job, and we hired a guy named Bruce Evans, who had all the credentials in the world. And then we hired, I think it was Weston and Sampson. There were many engineering companies. So there was an engineer named Tony, and there was Bruce. And they took the plan, and it was all set, and it was a grant. It was going to be paid. And they changed the technical stuff while they were doing it. Now, there were sewer commissioners separate from selectmen. I was chair of the selectmen. Should have been watching. They had the landfill wars going on, which was very distracting.
Wicked, yeah.
These two guys went off the reservation, they came up with their own experimental shit, it didn't work. Bruce Evans not only quit, he moved away over a weekend. He's in Kentucky or something like that.
And Weston Sampson isn't gonna stand behind the work done, that was
Tony-
changed in the field.
And by then, and it kind of collapsed, and it was no longer a selectman.
Yeah.
The selectmen didn't chase that money.
Yeah.
But my point is that it should have been another person,
Absolutely,
not the engineering outfit that was doing the job.
absolutely.
Not the guy working for the town.
One,
It needed to be somebody over here, just going, hey, why are you
Yeah.
not following,
No, and that's why like I said, I kind of stewed on the conversation in the morning, and and she listened, I will say, she's like, I get it. She's like, but I just don't know what I'm asking, to put something together, you know.
Well, I guess are we trying to just hire a clerk of the works, which would oversee the project? Or, I feel we need more than that.
I do too.
I mean,
I think
my
it
other
should-
fear that with this sewer department and over my tenure of it, it's a hard thing. Like these guys can get a job anywhere, so there's a good chance that any day one or two of them could leave, and you always seem to have the gap. I mean, right now we seem to be holding our own with the labor that we have, but I mean to have another person involved gives us another license that oversees the,
I
this
just
project.
forwarded you guys that column number. I re-forwarded it to you and I included you.
Thank you. All right, well, if for planning board, when we're doing the site plan review, we use Graves Engineering. I'm not suggesting them necessarily, but they're not in-house, but we're used to working with this one guy, Walsh. So when we needed some technical oversight of something that was being proposed, we haul them in, and then the applicant pays that peer
Yeah.
review.
Review.
So, I mean, I guess that's kind of what I'm asking for. I mean, I don't know, clerk of the works is specific, it's another position, I don't know. I don't know how the money works, but we really need somebody extra watching out so that we don't get, it can't be the architect.
That's, yeah,
It's not right,
there's no checks and balance.
exactly.
And I was kind of floored that they thought they were gonna do it too. They sent over a proposal.
It's kind of rude, is what it is.
I've never seen it in my day. I mean, I've worked construction for a long time. It never has, there's always a checks and balance.
The other thing is, you and I know more so, whenever you build something new, you are going to inevitably have issues.
Yep,
It's
100%.
things are just gonna work different than you used to, there's gonna be little technical
Mhm.
issues, there's gonna be little bugs in this thing.
I built my own house.
But that's
Made
why I feel like-
40,000 decisions.
That's why I'm wondering, like, if the same person, you bring that person in to do the oversight, is gonna be the same company or firm or to.
Well, can we just invite in 3 different companies that do this and discuss with them what we want and have them give us a written proposal to stay within the procurement laws?
That I
mean,
don't know.
That's Nicole.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. Because my feel is like, you gotta put it out there for them to,
To come to you, but
Right.
if they don't respond to you,
I know.
sometimes you have to reach out.
Well, you could get Tom Kuchar probably, and huh? Tom Kuchar's good. Okay, can't get him.
I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, I thought he passed.
Let's hope we don't get them.
All right, we're not
should I
gonna
bring
get
the Ouija
land
board
here.
next time?
We ain't gonna get Tommy, no rolling.
Have the two
Tommy
times.
Rowland is.
Oh, God, okay.
If they show up, I guess we don't have to worry about the treatment plant.
Nope.
Anyhow.
Well, maybe that's a question for Nicole to see if we can, but do we know
Well,
3 firms that do
Yeah,
this?
There's
I
a
don't-
couple national companies that do this.
Because I don't,
There's
you know.
Whitewater, there's Blue Herring, there's,
There's Weston and Sampson, know, you just ask them to come in almost informally, not create an
Yeah,
RFP. We
and-
don't know what we're asking for.
That's, yeah,
But out of a conversation, maybe they could help us figure out what we
Put that
want,
together.
what that's called.
Yeah.
I know I had this, when I was just select board, when I was just sewer commission, I had a discussion with Blue Herring. I had them come in,
right.
and I just met with them, and Nicole and I met with them. And,
But they didn't present a lot, like,
right, well, I don't
Because they-
think they know what we're asking for either,
Yeah.
so
We
I
gotta
think we
figure
gotta
that,
explain to them what we're asking for.
Yes.
And I-
fair enough.
I mean, I think we're asking for someone to do maybe a couple days a week of oversight, even if it's like a part-time thing,
Right,
be able to answer any questions or deal with any issues.
Yep. I would agree with that.
Who understand plans, and, I mean, they've already looked over the plans. 'Cause-
That Blue Herring did, yeah.
Yeah, which they picked out a couple things that they were concerned about,
But again, at this point,
it doesn't matter,
I
no.
think it is what it is, like,
Yeah.
because USDA has, you know,
Well, and they even
Right,
said that.
yeah,
They
okay.
just said, oh,
Yeah.
you know, if you
I
notice.
think that's their concern. I
Right.
think that's what DPC's biggest concern is. Well, you know, are you looking for someone to come in and, you know, recreate the wheel? I'm like, no, that's not at all what we're looking for. It's to represent the town. You know, here, as a board, we represent the people that are gonna pay for this.
There's
Let's
al-
not, like, you know, let's not have it go to shit, excuse
And
me.
there's a bunch of alternates there too.
Mm-hmm,
So if depending on how the money's spent,
Thank you.
what
Oh my
alternates
gosh,
might be the
right.
best, and, you know.
yeah.
Can't tell them we want to find somebody to make sure they stay honest, because that would be kind of an
Well,
insult. But that,
But it is, it's a checks and balance. I mean, and anyone in that position should understand that,
anybody in the trades would understand.
you know?
So, there's Paul Benoit, who actually knows a lot of stuff about this. He's retired, but he brought it up to grade under St. Vincent's. All the grading, the plumbing, the drainage, everything, really knows this stuff. I don't know if he'd be willing, and I don't know if we're talking a full-time or a part-time or what.
Well, I think like Rob said, I mean, I was thinking the same thing, like a couple days a week.
Yeah.
But then you're looking for someone for oversight of the whole operation. That has to be in place when the job's done.
Right, but even that's more a couple days a week too.
Right,
You
yeah,
know,
I
it's
would
making
agree.
sure everything's
I don't think it's an
budgeted,
every, yeah,
chemicals, I mean,
correct.
even Scott, he gets overwhelmed with stuff and he forgot to order dioxide. So then you have the smell issue, so it's like, you know, it's good for him to have some help, I think,
Yeah,
on a daily
I don't
basis.
disagree.
There is, even though he's gonna have new plants, we still have an old collection system.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yep. And everything in the road is not new.
no. And again, you're gonna have issues, no matter
Yep.
what you do, you're gonna have issues.
Agreed.
Pumps are only gonna last 2 or 3 years, and actually, every one of those pumps, you're supposed to, in the maintenance manual, you're supposed to pull them out annually, basically take them apart, and you rebuild them, and you put them back. And that prevents them, because the impellers wear out, and
Mhm.
you have bearings that go on them, and I'm sure that stuff's not getting done just because of the time frame.
Yeah.
So I guess.
No, I would welcome people coming in and you know, kind of helping us with this.
You want me to talk to Paul? I don't know if he, you guys must know, I mean, you work.
Yeah, he
You
works
both
for,
do dirt work, don't you? Kinda.
not Mark, starts with an M on a lister.
Maurice Brothers,
Maurice.
he worked for Maurice Brothers, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what his qualifications are, but,
I don't think he's got educational certificates, I think he's just done it all his
Yeah, he's
career.
but has he done sewer treatment plants?
I think he's sewer and supply. I
Yeah,
don't know
he's
how.
built, he was a superintendent for.
No, I know he was, but he did sewer treatment plants? Yeah, I mean, that would be my, you know,
I'll ask him to come in and give us an idea of what we're thinking about, I don't know.
maybe he could help us, yeah, maybe at least he could help us figure out what we're gonna, like, you know.
Right.
What we need.
I just wanna make sure we spell it out correctly. I
Right.
think we're all on the same page, I just don't know how to ask.
I've never
for
written
it.
an RFQ, so
Right.
that's a little above my pay grade.
Would we be, you know,
I mean, I
illegal-
could give it hell, but I'm not sure.
I think we've asked legal, and they were useless.
I don't know, yeah.
So I could ask Paul to kind of explain what he thinks we need and send it to all of us as email. And then would we be breaking rules? We're not deliberating?
No, as long as we're not, correct, he can send us information. We can't take a vote on it through an email.
Right.
Right,
But then maybe we have something, a letter or,
yeah, to look at for next meeting.
okay. if
That
that's
would be
good.
helpful.
And if you gotta respond to them, just separate your responses, separate email, get directly to them.
Yeah, that's a place to start.
Yeah, I mean, he talked my ear off about this whole thing back when I ran for selectman,
Yeah.
so he understands what's going on, he's looked at it, so.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he could be some help here.
Yep,
I think if we were just looking for a clerk of the works, I think he'd be a good candidate, but I think we're looking for more than that. And I'm not so sure that's something.
I don't think he wants to go full-time.
No.
But he could help us a lot and save us a lot of
Yes,
blind alleys, you know.
yeah, he probably does know exactly what issues.
what to ask
come
for,
up.
yeah.
I've never built this treatment plant, but I know,
I tried, but I screwed it up.
talking to Benny after he was done here, he was working on the one in Orange, and there was already a design issue that was unforeseen, so
Yikes.
I'm gonna tell you, it happens all the time.
Good.
So they were trying to figure out how to get around something, this was a few months back. Just,
And that's DPC.
yeah. There's, in survey.
It just
or-
happens, yeah, it does happen.
You take millions of shots, and you're
Yep.
trying to put all the information back together, you know, something's bound to happen.
We just had it happen, and we went just based, we did it based on the plan, and guess what? Plan was wrong. And you know what we were told? We should have known.
Should have gone off the reservation.
You don't do that. You know, you follow a plan. An engineer designs a plan. It's what you're given, it's what you follow. And guess what? It was wrong. It
So
happened.
I discovered calcimine ceilings that
You know,
day.
it happens. No one's, you know,
That's all right.
no one's perfect.
So you're gonna talk to Paul?
I'll talk to Paul. I'll get him to send
Move
us
this to
something.
start.
And keep this on, I would say, let's keep this on the
Keep
agenda
rolling
for,
down our
yeah,
agenda,
until
please.
we get through it.
All right, let's just kind of skip down to
Yeah.
the email regarding.
Yeah.
February 9th. Thanks.
No, I just, I want to advocate that I think it's really critically important. I mean, I know it's an extra $1,000, but a couple of things. It's branding. I mean, if we're hardwick-ma.gov and our emails are clerk@townhart.com, it does cause some confusion. I had given Nicole a few things that I had picked up from cybersecurity. I don't know if she forwarded all that
I guess
to-
I'm gonna pause right now, because I'm confused. I thought we were talking about the
The
school email.
with the
with the
voting.
election.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the email.
So I'm like, wait, I'm very confused right now.
So, all right, so Lauren Mace had brought something, and this is something that I had always, I was planning on approaching you about anyways, and I really think we should move our municipal election to Saturday, first, second, or third, in my opinion. I think we would get better turnout, but mainly we wouldn't have to deal with the school. They're scared crapless for a good reason. You know, anybody could just walk in there, and I get it.
It's scary right now.
Yeah,
It is.
so, the thing is even having an officer there and all that, I mean, I totally get it. As far as the other elections, I put it back on the school committee. It's like, look, you guys adopt your calendar.
You know when, like,
You know when state
the
elections and
primaries
primaries
are, you know
are.
when the, right.
You know they're always gonna be on
Yeah.
a Tuesday. So you can very easily set your calendar ahead of time so that you're not having school in session. So, I'm gonna propose that we put a bylaw in it to change the annual town election. You know, we can pick a day or discuss it at the meeting, but I'm looking at a Saturday, more than likely second or third. I don't know, you know, Mother's Day, I think, is the, second Sunday? So maybe the third Saturday, which is before Memorial Day.
In May?
Yeah.
You're pushing them all the way out to May?
Oh, he
Some
wants to
people
go
go in June.
Good Lord!
But I mean, at the
It
same.
doesn't matter, it's just
2
gonna
more
be a
years, I'm
week.
counting my time down, hey.
Oh.
You just extended it.
Well, hey, I got shortchanged. I didn't get elected until June, and then I got April. But, you know, and at the same time, you know, our annual's supposed to be in May. We always hold it in June.
Right.
Let's come up with, you know, a day to propose to the voters to say, this is when the annual meeting's going to be.
Would you put that on an article for this town meeting?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a bylaw change.
Yep.
So I'm, you know, looking, like I said, second or third Saturday for the election, and then whatever you feel would be comfortable for town meeting.
You don't wanna do it in April, why not?
Because it's the school, because of the hours, the weather can be terrible. I don't wanna have to worry about lighting. I've got lighting where I don't have to worry at 8 o'clock at night that if I need
Right,
lighting.
if you go into May.
So,
Whatever.
I mean, it's eventually up to the townspeople to decide on that.
Right.
We've had elections in February, we've had elections in March, we've had them in April.
Sure.
And other communities, you know, you've got to have them between January and June. Your town meeting has to be done by June the 30th. The vote that you made was, you technically had to postpone the meeting, because otherwise it was supposed to be tonight. So if we're gonna push it to June, let's just come up with a static date that we know it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So that's that. So I had replied back, and you know, the other stuff is just in the school committee's hands at this stage. I can't do anything about it. There's no other place that we can vote.
So you're gonna propose,
I'll draft an article
for this,
for this.
can I respond to Lauren and say that we
Oh,
had a
absolutely.
discussion and,
Yes.
okay. Because I didn't respond back to her.
And I didn't either, I think, on that.
No,
reply.
and so, because I figured we'd talk, and then, you know, if you're okay with me responding back to her, just to.
No, just.
I did say that we had forwarded it off, and you had some concerns as well, but
Yeah.
now that we've had a conversation.
I think that the town election's so close to, the annual town meeting, when you elect new members to the board, and they'll have to be trying to finalize the budget and all that, you won't have time.
That's how it is now, though. You can call the town election and the town meeting within the same warrant, because they're within 35 days. And historically, that's always been the case. So if someone's gonna run for office and they beat an incumbent, it's kind of incumbent upon that challenger to be up to speed
Oh,
on the
yeah.
budgetary
Yeah.
Or
process.
don't run, right.
So, or
Yeah.
don't run. So to use the argument that they're gonna be behind, well, there's been meetings going on for months prior to that, you know, as we've seen tonight. So,
Yeah,
but
so
historically, they were
it's
called in
not
the
bad.
same warrant, and we could do that because they were within the 35 days. The first order of business is to choose the officers, and then at the adjournment of that meeting, you hold your annual town meeting.
Yeah, I don't think that concerns me too much. I mean, again, I think you made a good point. Anyone that is willing to run hopefully knows what they're getting into, first of all, and will dig in and get caught up to speed.
It's not just one person that's putting
Yeah.
that budget together. It's,
No,
you know, a dozen
Yeah.
people. But certainly bring that out, I mean, when it's discussed.
Being the new guy, you can duck a lot of this work, I don't have to understand.
See, I was thinking about him.
You're worried about me, I think.
Oh. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm good with it, if you wanna put that together,
I
obviously.
will, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to go with Nicole and Angie. You know, I mean, there's the boilerplate, and then there's all the other ones. And she had asked me again, she said, you know, don't we need a special for prior year's bills? And it's like, no.
No, No.
No, you
we
can
do it
throw
all.
anything you
We
want.
got rid of that a couple years.
Yes.
Yeah, yep.
Anything and everything. on
Yeah,
the
because we
email.
used to open it, have like one vote, or maybe nothing, and then we had to close it.
Close
Honest
it,
to
yeah.
God. Yeah.
To
And then
open
some-
it.
Nancy Talbot, thankfully, would, somebody, was like, ding, it's like, it's a town meeting, you can throw anything you
Anything
want
on
on
it.
it.
Yeah, I don't know why, yeah.
All right, so what did you have for about emails?
So about emails regarding, going to hardwick-ma.gov. So, and I'll be very quick, there are legitimate security concerns, and I just want to show you something, just for me, for the last 2 days. So, this came to me, subject matter, hi, your password's going to expire, click this link.
Oh, yeah, I get those all the time.
So, and then you get this one today as well.
Yep.
Now, on the .gov, they do have stronger phishing, and at the same time, here's one right here for Belmont I had sent off to the group. You get this little border that says, caution, outside of your agency. I'm simply just trying to state that it's money well spent, because if something were to happen where somebody were to do that, click the wrong thing and download the wrong thing into the servers, it's going to cost a hell of a lot more than $1,000 to fix it. So from a security standpoint, I'm big on, we'll have another conversation about security of this building someday, but the IT infrastructure, I'm just advocating that we really need to switch the emails off of that town Hardwick to the hardwick-ma.gov. I just hope you consider it.
So,
Yeah,
I thought we did.
I thought we did too.
Oh.
We didn't change the emails over yet, and I think that has to do with that liftoff too. It's
That's
to
why,
make
that's why I
sure-
asked. if
Yeah,
that
so
was,
I think that was what
so we just
this
need
was
clarification
too.
on that. Okay.
In regards to getting it all switched
Yeah.
over.
Actually,
Alright.
can we get the IT person in here for next meeting?
Yeah.
Because I think really that's the way we gotta go. We gotta ask them questions, because it's like, we're playing this game, we ask Nicole a question, then she tries to get back to them. I think we just gotta
Paul.
make sure,
Paul's kind of cool too.
right.
We just switched over at work to him.
Yeah, just
He's a good guy.
just make sure we got everything where we want it to be. Anybody in the building that's got concerns, let's just address them and try to move forward with it. The letter game is getting old.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Eric. And Angie, I'll see you guys soon.
Do we have any more?
There's just a bunch
Just
of town
the-
reports.
Yeah, committee reports and then
Yeah.
Nicole's report.
Yeah.
We can all read those on our own time, correct?
And you guys got the correspondence from KP Law about betterments?
I didn't print
I
it
don't,
out.
hopefully it's in here.
It was emailed from Kathleen Klein earlier today.
No, I wouldn't
Do you
have
want
gotten
me
it. I went through my email.
Do you want me to go
I-
Photoshop? You
I-
have, you saw it though?
It'll be
I
at
am
home.
ready.
It's,
not
okay,
at home,
yeah.
But it does say that we need to have a town meeting.
It does. Just some things that were interesting. You don't necessarily have to have public hearings though, but I think they are important, just to put the information out there.
Right.
But it does have to go to an annual or a special town meeting. And they kind of gave us some wording for the, what the vote would look like.
And this is specifically about better.
Just betterments,
Right.
yep. And the other, you kind of said like the different ways in which we could assess, whether it's, per job, overall, the tax base. The tax base, if we were to go by the tax base like we talked about last week, you have to consider people that aren't taxpayers, users that aren't taxpayers.
Right, well, those are renters, people that are renting an apartment, so.
Well, one of the biggest users isn't a taxpayer.
Oh,
So those are things we gotta think about.
well, so then you do essentially a pilot, and I would think PJ would agree. And I think he thinks that he agrees with this formula, or doing it that way. I saw an email that he sent to us where he said that he thought it was a good idea. Not that it should rule us, but he would have to pay, Eagle Hills would have to pay their fair share. And that could be figured
Yeah, it's just one more step, you
in a
know,
wrinkle,
so, yeah, so just things to think about.
Do we need to have this, so we really need to decide next meeting. Do we schedule another meeting? for
We
this?
have, next Tuesday, we did like an info at 6.
What? Oh, yeah, okay, so
Next
that's.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I was like, we did schedule something.
Yep, and
on
so
6.
I think we're gonna be in person, but we're gonna do it Zoom too,
Yes.
to allow people here and on Zoom.
And we're gonna be telling them what?
We'll go over what our plan is for,
Keep talking about better.
We'll make our final decision on how to do this at that meeting?
You think so?
we may be ready to, I wouldn't take it off the table, but I'd say.
To present
Yeah, we
an
can-
avenue? But we need to know, if we're thinking that, then
We need to.
we were gonna add properties that could hook up. We need that number. And we also need
Well, technically,
the tax base number.
the numbers don't, the cash value number doesn't mean all that much because
No,
Until
but we
the-
need to know, like,
until the project's done. We
Yeah,
technically aren't gonna have a true
correct.
number.
No, we won't.
So I'm a little hesitant. You know, you almost wanna say roughly
Yeah,
whenever you make these
we
terms.
have to, because we don't know what.
Right, we won't know
No.
until we're done.
And it's gonna be arranged, if we do it for the tax base, then it's gonna be arranged for all the people because of their valuations. So that's how that would be figured. I hadn't thought of the school not paying taxes, but they would have to.
It's just something else that we just have to make sure we're aware of that.
But if we present to a public meeting 3, 4 different possibilities, I don't think we'll get anywhere.
That's, right, so, yeah, that's, like, we have to,
We'll
I think
hash
we have
through
to,
them.
like, present the option that we feel is the best for everybody,
Right.
and then that gets voted on.
So we decide that right now and vote on it.
Good, you know what you want?
Well, the vote has to go to the town meeting, though.
Right.
No, to make it law, but
Right,
no,
yeah.
we have
Right.
to
Right, we have
agree
to,
on
correct,
what we're gonna present.
yeah,
And we don't have all the information, but
right.
I don't know if that would help.
But I thought she was working on that, Lori Stevens.
Lori Stevens
Yeah.
was, but like I said, I
Can
believe
you have
there's,
Nicole follow up with Lori Stevens about the betterments? The additional information that she was gonna,
I wanna say
Yeah.
that, I mean, I remember when they put them in, I have a plan at home of how many
yeah,
houses have. I actually have the plan of the type of sewer, the pressurized main. I have the actual plan when I built
of
it,
the
yes,
line,
yes.
like, so anyone that could hook up?
It's on there, but, like I said, it's something like 30. That were left. I think there was 40-something in the beginning and 30-something.
30 stubs
Yeah, that
sitting
have
there
been,
unused.
yeah, that have been used. It's gonna be over time, they'll eventually get used, but.
Because eventually their systems will fail and they'll have to.
But that line honestly was not designed. This is the problem. The line was only designed for the center of town, the school, and maybe like 20 resident homes.
There were 24 water hookups, correct.
Right. So that's what they designed it for. Now, if we try to do a build-out, a betterment build-out, more so than just those
Right.
stubs, I think we're getting into that area with,
It won't handle it.
right, we're
Yeah.
not designed for that, so you really don't want to
Yep.
push that.
You know, we were trying to take it down. We were thinking about a greenhouse sewage treatment facility. You know, we've been looking at those.
Train.
Is there seriously a train?
Oh, that's right. the one.
Yeah, they're working on it.
The whistle was blowing. When I can hear the whistle, and my house, it means it's gonna rain. Usually I can't hear it. It's gonna rain. Well, I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
freezing again.
We're not gonna decide right tonight.
I don't think we're gonna decide tonight, it's 8:20. It's been a long day.
Tuesday's meeting isn't posted on my town government yet. Next Tuesday's. And currently, like for this meeting, it was only posted on Thursday afternoon at 4 something.
Right, it has to be posted 48 hours.
I know, but it was, in the town of Hardwick, the calendar, it's not being put up there. You can't plan 2 weeks ahead. You can't see when the meetings are gonna be.
Well, I can't plan 2 weeks ahead.
Yeah,
When they fill out the calendar page.
Oh, so you're just
maybe
saying-
they're not putting them in there, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
Maybe that's, can we?
Yeah, because I usually email Julie Marquette, so I don't know.
She's trying to step back too.
Yeah, so I,
but we used to be able to
No,
see,
she's all right.
you know, the whole
Yeah, but I
month
think
of
she's trying to like
meetings.
step back from work.
So I think on the old calendar, it used to set, it used to list the second and the fourth, right?
Mhm.
Like, so planning board is typically the third Wednesday, the conservation is normally the third,
Yeah.
the second Wednesday. So those used to always be on there, just like as a reference point, right?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we could,
I think because there was an issue with the calendar to begin with when we were signing up for it, so I think if you go under that department, it will list when their meeting is. Because I know
Yeah, I
that
don't
Julie
think
was
it
kind
does.
of having a little bit of an issue with that calendar in the beginning.
well, maybe
I
we
would
can,
take a look,
we
yeah.
can revisit
Because I
that.
do remember there was that conversation with that part.
Because even if, you know, they don't get the agenda posted till the Thursday
Who's gonna be
before,
out of town?
it's nice to know when there's a meeting.
I keep
You can
forgetting.
join by Zoom.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you can still join the meeting.
That's-
Do we have anything else to sign before we?
No, the only thing Nicole wanted me to bring up is, we found someone that we liked for my replacement.
Oh.
And she wasn't sure if you guys were okay to okay her, or do you wanna move it off to the next?
You're leaving?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Good.
Now, how long is that?
This person,
It's always good to meet them.
right?
Do you have a deadline? You have to be out of here by a certain time?
I was giving her to the end of June, so I will be here to train the new person.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome, so that they have, and I wrote out my policies and everything else that
Do
I
we
need.
have the budget for you to train the new person?
Yes, there's plenty in there still.
Okay.
Thank God for my kids being sick or
Okay.
vacation, so yes.
Can we have her come, well, when were you looking for her to start?
Well, that depends on, as long as I have time to train her for like the next
We
few
got a
weeks,
meeting on
we should be.
Tuesday. We could put it on the Tuesday night. It doesn't have to be solely for,
It doesn't, I mean,
we schedule the meeting, but.
we could meet her quickly first,
As long as the chairman keeps things moving
right?
efficiently.
Can you see if she can come in at 6 on Tuesday, just to meet
Sure.
us?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. That sound good?
Yeah.
And
maybe
then
we'll
just
kinda-
meet her quickly and then we'll go into betterments?
Yeah, that'd be good to the sewer stuff. Maybe we can even discuss the sewer
Oversight?
oversight, maybe Paul will get back to that.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get something to you by then.
Do you want me to photocopy this, Eric? Or are you okay just reading it in your email?
If it's in the email, I'll
Okay.
get it. I just didn't open it up this
Okay.
afternoon.
I keep forgetting that we're on.
On camera.
All right, anybody else?
I move to adjourn.
Please, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there's the other one on the board of health.
Let's go behind a tree.
I guess I can make it home. It's not that far of a ride, but